Welcome back, everyone, to Frenchie Plays Ancient Domains of Mystery. When last we left Billy, the human wizard, we were going to climb up the pyramid that we so graciously got invited to when we turned level 12. So, a couple of reasons why we would want to come to this particular dungeon. Unlike other dungeons that we go to visit to generate dungeon features such as pools and shops and vaults, this dungeon has a fixed layout. It can't generate any of those things. This dungeon is the exact same every single time, save for what monsters it spawns. So as you see here, I'm taking a very particular path, and that's because I know pretty much exactly where to go in order to climb to the next level. Now, one thing that I should be doing here, and I'm about to start, is disarming these traps, which I know are here. This entire hallway is filled with traps, and it took me getting hit by 2 traps in order to start disarming them. Not a very good play on my part, especially because I only have 88 HP. So you saw I took about 30 HP damage from those 2 traps. Not very smart of me. But as you can see, now I am standing on the stairways to go up to level 2. I'm just going to eat a little bit, and I believe I'm going to heal some of my wounds. I'm eating right there, and then I just waited on the stairs until my HP came back. Not another very smart move. Right now, it's not a huge deal, but later on, deeper into the dungeons, standing around and waiting, not a good idea. Background corruption begins to build later in the game, and standing around waiting is standing around taking corruptions. So, something you want to be careful of later in the game. I did have some Spenceweed, which would heal me too, so that was an option I could have done to heal myself instead of just standing there. So here I'm close to the next stairs up. Now you might be asking, so what is the point of generating this dungeon if it's the same every time? Well, there's a guaranteed boss here that drops 2 okay artifacts for beating him. There's also some very useful tools on the first floor. There's a pickaxe, a climbing set, and a fletchery set, and maybe a cooking set. There's a couple of different tools. Definitely a climbing set and a pickaxe that are guaranteed to generate on the first floor. If you beat the boss by the time you level up, before you hit level 16, once you hit level 16, this dungeon closes. And so if you haven't beaten him by the time you hit 16, you can't access the pyramid, and you miss out on all of its rewards. So I'm going to fight some guys here. I was waiting to try to get my power points back up, and you can see here in a second I'm going to hit level 15, and I'm going to get a warning basically saying, hey, you better hurry, because the pyramid's going to close soon. So you'll see here in a second, I'm just basically killing mummies, hoping hopefully nothing comes, because I don't have a wand of door creation. That would be a good thing to have right now. I'm just gonna blast this guy. So here it says I reached level 15, so I'm 1 level away from this dungeon closing out on me. I'm just gonna choose my skills here. I kind of just choose them randomly, probably, because eventually I'll max out everything that I can. So it says, the uncursed papyrus skull in your backpack suddenly crackles with black energies. The runes contained on it seem to shift like writhing snakes. A sense of urgency floods you. That's warning you, hey, you better go. So here is the top level of this dungeon. This is Rehetep's lair. Rehetep is the the ancient mummy lord that you have to fight here. So you can see some slightly dangerous enemies here. We have acid vortex, some gray slayers, jackal wares, which can confuse you. I think that's an Etten, a sorceress. So I'm just gonna cast advanced fireball, and it was kind of dumb, cause that took a lot of my power points. That took like 100 power points. It was not very smart. I'm out of mana, but Rehetep is dead. I killed him in 2 shots. Nice, but I'm out of mana. I'm out of power points. And that, I think, is something that I'm realizing right now. It took me a second. The further away you are when you cast Advanced Firebolt, the more power points it takes. And that's not something that I realize. It's actually a mistake I make later in the game as well. Much later in the game. So one of those things that you just remember and then you forget. So luckily I was able to, I had a scroll of power in my backpack that's going to give me some of my power points back. I'm just running away from this acid vortex right now though, because this is a deadly situation. You know, it might not seem too scary, but I don't have anything that, I don't have anything that's guaranteed to hit that acid vortex. A spell that I'm missing right now that would be really useful in this dungeon is Burning Hands. Burning Hands is a 1-tile range spell, fire spell, that never misses. So as long as they don't resist it, or as long as they're not immune, they'll take damage from it. And that is really helpful here. I don't have that. So it's similar to Improved Fireball. Improved Fireball won't miss, but that's not something you want to cast. First off, it's expensive, and it's not something you want to cast right next to you because you'll get hit by the fireball as well. So right now I'm just trying to clear out this dungeon. This Jackalware, which is 2 tiles above me, is kind of dangerous. He can confuse you. You don't want to get confused, because then you spend your turn walking in a random direction. Pretty lucky there that I killed him before he was able to get too close. Right now I'm just trying to line people up. I believe that's maybe a superior doppelganger. It's hard to tell with doppelgangers because they always look exactly like you. There I just got poisoned by that high elf priestess. The good thing about the high elf priestess though being here, she's not as dangerous as she normally could be because she can't summon on this floor. Normally she would summon a bunch of spiders to come and attack me. So another dangerous situation here. I'm completely surrounded. 52 HP, 11 mana. I'm down to 27 HP. The more surrounded you are, the easier it is for you to get hit. Now, I just prayed for healing. So I haven't prayed a whole lot, and because my piety is not very high. I just got confused. I'm almost completely surrounded. This is a dangerous spot to be in. I'm really not faring too well here. I have a really good shield that I'm not using. Maybe I might should have equipped that shield before going in here because I don't really plan on attacking in melee too much. So now what I'm doing here is I'm getting into what little of a hallway I can get into. Now I can only be attacked on 3 sides. So still kind of dangerous, but less dangerous than the situation I was in. I was lucky that I was able to do that while cowered, in a coward stance. I still only have 31 HP, still only have 15 mana. Looking at, what items I have that I can use here. I've got some potions here. Karst Potion of Healing, that's not going to do a whole lot. I've got some Spenceweed. I'll eat some Spenceweed. That's going to bring my HP up to 71, so that's pretty good. So maybe it's a good idea that I didn't use the Spenceweed earlier. I only have so many blessed Spenceweed. But that does heal me quite a bit. But my mana is still very low. I might have some wands here that I can use here. I've got, I think maybe one. I've got a wand of cold. The wand of acid didn't look like it had too many charges left. If a wand has 0 charges, you can still use it, but it might fail. And if you do end up using it, the wand gets destroyed. So it's not something that you want to rely on. Here I'm going to use some more Spenceweed to heal myself. Really, Spenceweed is invaluable at pretty much any stage of the game, but especially this stage of the game. If you can get some Blessed Spenceweed, you can see that I'm keeping my HP pretty high just by using that Spenceweed. Now, I'm still just trying to line people up here because, it's more efficient to cast these bolt spells so they hit more than one person. I only get so many spells. Spell-wise, you only get so many castings of each individual spell, but also power points-wise, it's not great to be casting so much and just trying to hit one guy. But I'm just down to these 2 guys left, so it looks like I have 3 guys left. So my speed is 113. I will be able to kite these guys around a little bit easier now that there's not going to be people cutting me off and trying to block my way. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk around, and so they don't just run into me and try to hit me constantly. I'm not going to stand around and let them hit me. I'm going to walk around and try to outrun them. Now, this guy can throw stones at me, which you just saw. He threw a rock and hit me for 6 damage, so that's not very fun. But I was able to kill these guys. I got some gauntlets from that guy. But here's what I came for. I just picked up the Strange Wrappings and the Ankh. Those are the 2 artifacts that Rohetep drops. The Ankh makes you lucky, and Fate smiles upon you. 2 intrinsics, which are the opposite of Cursed and Doomed, which we talked about earlier. So basically, my rolls are just a little bit better. Slight bonuses on my rolls. The ancient mummy, the strange mummy wrapping or ancient mummy wrapping is a chest item, which has pretty good intrinsics. It allows you to see invisible. It grants you immunity from cold based attacks, and it's got some okay PV and DV values. So it's a nice artifact to have in this kind of early-ish game. Now, here's a newer function of the game. This is the Borderland settlement. This is this town was added just recently in one of the more recent updates. It only generates so many turns in the game. I'm not sure exactly how many turns, but it's not there at the very beginning. So if you go straight to the Caverns of Chaos, which we're right next to, this won't be available. But if you do other stuff and then go to the Caverns of Chaos, pretty much no matter what you're doing, it's going to be there by the time you're ready for it. Some guaranteed characteristics of this town are the potion shop and the lawful altar that we're about to see. So this potion shop always spawns, which is amazing. One of the biggest problems that this game used to have was that you run out of potions of water. So being able to go to a place that has a lots of potion of waters and lots of other nice potions, obviously, but the biggest thing is the potions of water. You'll see I'll pick up every single potion of water that he has, and I'll buy them all from him. I'll probably also pick up this carrot juice because it's fairly cheap and it's good for my perception. You know, carrot juice makes your eyes better. Everyone knows that. And so again, I'm just walking over all these items just to so they identify. As soon as you see an item in a shop, it identifies, so you don't have to worry about identifying them later when you see them, or if you've already picked them up, then you'll know what they have. So now I know what all my potions are, basically. I don't know what that green potion is. Who knows? Maybe it's a potion of walk faster. That's not a real potion, but it could be. You know, you never know. Maybe it's a potion of water breathing. Again, not a real thing, but wouldn't that be cool? So I think this might be the first time I've ever seen this settlement in this playthrough. So I'm just trying to like look over everything, but it is kind of cool to see everything here. This altar is always lawful because these people are bishops of. This is a bishop of order, and these are paladins of order. Trying to convert this altar will immediately turn everyone hostile, so don't do it. But he'll tell you basically, hey, there's a deep cavern to the west. Go check it out. I think that's where everything's coming from. Basically, what the village elder told you, or the druid told you back in Terranio. This guy you can confess your sins to him, and if you do it, and I didn't know this at the time, and then you talk to him again, you'll be blessed for a little bit of time. Blessed is just something that helps you with your with your rolls a little bit. It's similar to Fate Smiles and Lucky, but it's an actual statistic that you have. Once you get crowned, you're also blessed. So that is something nice to do. I didn't end up doing it there, but we're now walking. That was the first level of the Caverns of Chaos. This is the main dungeon in the game. This dungeon goes down 50 levels plus some branching levels, so it's not just straight down. And there are a couple of roadblocks in our way, but this is the meat and potatoes of the game right here. This is our goal, is to dive to the very bottom of this dungeon. So there are two things blocking our way from just diving straight down into this dungeon. And we'll see a little bit more about it later, but the two things are the portal, the ancient dwarven portal, and the column of flames. The column of flames can't be passed until you have the orb of elemental fire, which can be found in the Tower of Eternal Flames, which is a different dungeon on the world map. And the portal can't be passed until you get permission from the Dwarven Elder, which we'll see here in a little bit. So I got a few different spells. Teleport was one of them, so that was really nice. Here's a pool. So now I'm kind of strong enough to be able to fight off any of the bad things that might happen in the pool, but I get a wish. Now this is so crazy good. So what I'm going to wish for is spell books of Acid Ball. I'm a wizard. Acid Ball is a really strong spell, and this gives me 3 spell books of Acid Ball. This is one of the most damaging spells in the game. And I could have wished for a couple of different things. But this is something that I if I'm a wizard, if I'm a spellcaster, if I can read books, this is one of my go-to wishes. So you'll see I blessed these spell books because I want to get as many castings of it as I can. Now, one thing I could have done, and I don't do, I read them all right away. And I could have stored some of these spell books and had them available for me later. You see right there, I just used Acid Ball. Now, this isn't a kind of, I have this problem where sometimes something's too good to be used, right? I fall into that trap a lot. Acid Ball is not one of those, no spell in this game is too good to use, because as you use spells, they get stronger. So, yes, Acid Ball is a really good spell. Yes, it's pretty expensive, but it's also something that I'm going to want to use throughout the game, because the more I use it, the stronger it gets, and this is going to be my go-to spell, basically. If I'm in any significant danger, I'm going to want to cast Acid Ball. So right there, I've had 1,000 casts of Acid Ball from those 3 books. So that's pretty good. This floor right here is the arena. It generated on dungeon level 3, so that's really low. The arena will be the subject of a quest that we have to do later. We have to become the champion of the arena, which takes 20 fights in the arena. So we'll see. We'll come back to this floor in a little bit. So here we are on D4. I'm just taking periodic drinks here because talking nonstop really makes my throat tickle. I coughed directly into the mic last time, so I apologize for that. So here I find another lawful altar, which is great. You know, I'm if you see in my all right, stop, dude, come on. If you see up in the top right hand corner, I'm lawful plus. You saw that my god right there is very pleased with me, so that's not very high, but it's pretty high. I want to get absolutely close with him, with my god, so that I can become crowned. When you crown, you become permanently blessed. You gain immunity to one element, so either ice, fire, lightning, or acid. I'm fighting this fucking mimic here. I hate mimics. And you gain an artifact, a specific artifact based on your class. So here's a ring shop. I find a ring of teleport control that's amazing because I just got the spell teleport. And so if you can't control teleport, you'll just teleport randomly. Unfortunately, I can't afford it yet, but that is something to remember for later. Now here is the big room, dungeon level 6. This is a very dangerous room because, as you can see, there's no walls, so you get surrounded very easily. And I'm fighting this cat right here, so that's not good. Luckily, I have Farsight, and I can see the stair right there. I can go straight to the stairs. If you get stuck looking for the stairs in that room, that could be potentially really dangerous. So I'm just letting this cat hit me because I don't want to kill any cats if I can't help it. Here's a karmic lizard. I think I mentioned this before, but you don't want to melee those guys because they if you're lucky or fate smiles upon you, it'll take that away. If you're not, it'll curse or doom you. You don't want to fight anything that's karmic. You don't want to melee anything that's karmic. On the flip side, if you eat a karmic corpse, you gain one of those one of the beneficial statuses. So that's really nice. So I'm just running away from this cat. My speed is actually really amazing. So that's one really good thing about this character, is that its speed is really good. Still coughing, so I'm sorry about that. Here's another vault. I found another vault. I don't think I noticed that when I entered the room, but just a nice wide open vault here. I'm gonna cast some advanced fireball just to kind of make it go a little bit faster here. I'm not gonna show you this entire vault, I don't think, but it's crazy how many vaults I've run into. Nothing too crazy overpowered coming from these vaults, but a lot of loot is generated from these vaults. So it's always nice, just if you have the ability to go through, clear it out, likely find a spell of some sort or a nice weapon or shield. I see a spell book on the ground right there already, so definitely something to do. Maybe I do show you this entire dungeon because it's not very big. As far as dungeons go, it's pretty small, and part of that is because it's so wide open. So right there, I used Calm Monster on that cave lion. That's not something that works very often, actually. But I used it, and now he's friendly to me. That might not last forever, but if you have the spell, it's not a bad thing to try. Just because if you can get away with it, why not? Now, see, I'm out of power points here because I'm not paying attention to how much I actually spend. Well, I'm not out. I actually only have 23. So, I mean, but that's not enough to cast Acid Ball. So, I wanted to cast Acid Ball twice in a row there. See, the cat's already mad at me again. So, I don't think you can. I'm trying here again, but I don't think you can calm monster on the same monster more than once. So yeah, nothing too exciting left with that dungeon. I will show you the spellbook that I got here in a little bit. It was Frostbolt. So again, nothing too exciting. I already had Frostbolt, but it is nice to get more castings of it. Frostbolt is a nice spell here. Now, I am switching my weapon here. I found a Staff of Toughness, which is going to increase my toughness by +4, which will increase my HP. Toughness directly correlates with HP. See, now my HP was quite a bit lower than it is now. It's 140. Now, however, you might have seen that it was like at 155 or something. You can zap certain staffs, and they have different effects. The Staff of Toughness will boost your toughness for a short amount of time. So my HP might drop even lower in a little bit, but... So this is Dwarf Town. This is a guaranteed town. It always spawns fairly low into the Caverns of Chaos. We're on dungeon level 9 right now. This shop is a guaranteed mixed shop. So I'm just walking over everything, just checking out what it is. So we've got Scroll of Melee Accuracy, Scroll of Light, Scroll of Defense. You know, some pretty decent stuff here. Scroll of Identifies. That's nice. Oh, a Spellbook of Cure Serious Wounds. That's so good. 2,100 gold though. So, but that's a spell that I don't have. So it's really nice for me to pick that up. That spellbook down there at the very bottom is a Spellbook of Acid Ball. So the spell that I wished for is in the shop. And I'm not mad about that, because if I want more castings of it, I know where I can find one now. It's just probably going to be fairly expensive. I didn't get a chance to see how much it was. You might see down at the bottom left of the screen, there's like an item on the ground. That's a climbing set. I don't know where that came from. I don't know if that's guaranteed now or not. I've never seen one just laying on the ground like that before. But there's a climbing set there. I'm not picking it up right now because they're fairly heavy. This is Thrundar. He's the ancient dwarf and the leader of the village. He's going to give you like 5 different quests. And so the first quest he always gives you is to kill a specific animal. If you remember, I saved that dark orc for later, just in case he wanted me to kill a dark orc. Now, he doesn't want me to kill a dark orc. I think he wants me to kill a skeleton warrior. And so the next part of this video is me just looking for that skeleton warrior. I'm driving down. Oh, 3 mimics right in a row and a bunch of empty items. Now, if I was a little bit less lucky, I might have walked into that room and seen an empty shop. And here's a quiz for you guys. What did I say about empty shops? I said never go into an empty shop because it's a room full of mimics. Now, I was lucky and I saw that some of them were already mimics by the time I opened the door. And so I didn't get ambushed by mimics. I was able to fight them off. But that was a potentially dangerous situation. If I had gotten hit by one of those mimics, I could have been paralyzed and then instantly killed. Another thing here's a tension room, I believe this is, or a mixed vault. I can't really tell, to be honest. But we see here quite a few scary monsters here. I just left this in because I do level up here. But there's some good spells. There's a chaos orb right here, and those can I think I already killed it, but those can multiply. And we'll see later in the game I accidentally, on one floor, let a Chaos Orb multiply out of control, and it gets to be a very big nuisance. But, yeah, nothing too bad there. There was a Hydra there. I think that was the scariest thing in that, what I think was a tension room, a mixed tension room. So right now we're on D12. We're past Dwarf Town. We're still just searching for the skeleton warrior. Now, I wanna do this quest because one, Thrundar will tell me everything about my equipment. Basically, he'll hit me with a blessed scroll of identify and tell me everything about my items that I'm carrying, which is nice. But it also unlocks more quests in the line that give you really good stuff too. So I have to do this quest in order to get the new quests. I mean, typical, right? Now, here's something that I have to be careful for. There are 2 stairs down here. That means one of them leads to the ancient forest and one of them leads to the Dwarven Hall. I don't want to go any further than this. The next quest given to me by Thrundar is to find what's past the animated forest. I think if you go into the animated forest, it messes up that quest, and he'll just give you another kill quest. I don't want another kill quest. It's too random. I would rather do the quest as it's written. So, I'm not going to go any further. I don't have to, though, because I get lucky right here, and I find the skeleton warrior. This is very lucky. You know, I could have been searching forever. One thing I could have done is there's the Dwarven Graveyard for the an alternative quest that Thrundar gives you. It's likely there would have been a skeleton warrior there, but that would have required going all the way outside of the Caverns of Chaos and down to the southern part of the world map, and I didn't really want to do that right now. So I'm going to go back to Thrundar, and I'm going to turn in my quest here. Now, this is basically where I stopped recording for this part of the session. So, a couple of fun facts before we end the video is, this is I believe the 5th video, and they were all about a half hour long. This was all from one recording session. This was all from my first recording session, and that recording session lasted about, I think, 4.5 hours. So I cut a lot of stuff out. I cut, less than half of the stuff out, but so here he gives me, I tell him I want to talk about the quest. He tells me everything I know about my stuff, and then he's going to give me another quest, which is to pass the animated forest. I cut out a lot, and I'm going to cut out even more in the future. It was just, there's a lot to do in the beginning of the game. Now that we have sort of this thing set up, we can kind of go about cutting more out. Now, the next thing I think I do go right into passing the animated forest, but I'm not really sure. I have to take a look at that recording session. It's not very long, so one thing I want is I'm going to want some money to get that Ring of Teleport control, and because walking my way through the animated forest is not fun, so I want to be able to teleport through that. So we'll see what happens next time on Let's Play Ancient Domains of Mystery. Thanks.